Hey, Sardo.
Hey, Stross.
You want to talk about a movie?
Sure.
Well, then hop on in. I've been waiting several weeks to make that joke. I told you I had something planned for this, and it was obvious, but I had to do it. This is the only time that referencing an Aqua song will be actually important to what we're doing.
And it is very important here. Hey, everybody. That's Stross. I'm Sardo.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Barbie movie.
Yeah. So,
So,
yeah. We're talking about Barbie.
and we're not talking about any of the other, very well done animated Barbie movies. That we're talking about Greta Gerwig's Barbie.
Or the bad ones, because there are also some bad ones in there, too. I saw quite a few of
Yeah,
those, because I had a younger
sure.
sibling, so
Oh, yeah.
when those were coming out. But before we get started with our beloved takes on the Barbie movie by Greta
hmm
Gerwig, starring Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling, Sardo, would you like to give your thoughts on when this movie was first announced to its lead up to being released?
Uh,
I don't know
it
why I
was.
sounded so official there, by the way.
How do you say zeitgeist? People went fucking nuts, myself included. There were a number of memes even before this movie came out. I participated in several of them.
Yeah, no, I remember when this probably I can't remember when it was first announced because I think it was so far down the pipeline that it was like I think it was announced without anything else about it announced at the time.
Yeah.
So I remember, so like that's you know, like if I remember correctly, mind you, and there's
hmm
a solid like non-0% chance that I am horribly wrong, but I'm probably not considering how things are announced nowadays.
Right.
But I remember on the lead up, I was like, "Oh, this sounds weird and different."
Oh, it was weird and different from the jump because Greta Gerwig, as you might know, I know she directed Lady Bird,
Yeah, Lady
and
Bird. Keep going.
she's done some highbrow kind of artsy stuff, very feminist, like women-centered art to it.
Yeah,
And
just reading off some of the things she's made so people know what we talking about. Lady Bird, Frances Ha, which I actually know about. Uh, she directed. She's also an actress, so she's in a bunch of stuff. So the thing that she was in, the last thing she directed after Lady Bird was Little Women in 2019.
yeah,
I remember there was a lot of discourse about that one.
I'm not in the Little Women fandom, so I don't know a ton about the disco.
Neither do I. I wasn't really sure
I
about that.
She is generally held in fairly decent regard, though, I would say, by most people as a creator.
Yes.
And Barbie was fixed a little bit different. Barbie was an interesting choice for her, and we're like, oh man, how's she gonna do this?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
we got stuff kind of as as advertising does. We got stuff kind of dropped piecemeal, a bit at a time. A couple of shots of Will Ferrell in roller skates, lots of stuff of Margot Robbie in outfits, the one picture of Ryan Gosling in the denim vest that everybody's seen. There was a lot of stuff, and it was all adding up to something interesting, but I don't think anybody could quite put their finger on what that was going to be.
Nope.
And
Not one bit.
when I tell you the effect as an AFAB person, this had on me and other AFAB people. Strauss, I have never bonded more with my mom than I have over this movie. I
You know what? Great for you. I'm only laughing because it's like this was the one. You're like, Stross,
this
this
was
was
the
the
thing.
one.
And but it's I don't think I can put a fine enough point on the effect that Barbie had on people. People went fucking nuts over this thing. Me and my 30-something-year-old coworkers were like strategically organizing plans to go see this movie and dressing up for it. And we're all fairly different people, but Barbie was universal.
I mean, yeah, like I remember when I saw it was coming out, and I was
Mhm.
like, I don't go see a shit ton of movies
Mhm.
as much as I used to for a variety of different reasons, but also because like a lot of the movies that come out nowadays that like come out near me are just like the big stuff now because I don't live.
Yeah.
Because when I was living in New York City, I could go to like theaters that show the weird stuff. Like I saw the subtitled version of Your Name in theaters
Oh wow.
because I lived in New York where shit gets shown. I saw movies come out before they were wide released at film festivals type of like went to movies.
Yeah.
Specifically, the movie 71, quite good. I highly recommend it.
Very nice. I'll have to check that out.
It's well, maybe it does take place in Ireland in 1971.
All right, I dig it.
You would probably like it, but this isn't like, oh, this is a happy movie. It's like it's not.
Oh, Strauss, you're talking to the person who went to go see Hereditary in theaters by himself.
I didn't see this by myself. I went to see it with a friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
My friend from Istanbul.
Oh, cool.
Istanbul, of course.
Not Constantinople.
Yeah, but anyway, point is, it was going to this. I was interested because it was weird. All the marketing lead up with Ryan Gosling was really fun.
Ryan Gosling, give the man his flowers. He put his whole dick into this.
That's one way to refer to it, but yes, I agree.
He put his whole flesh-colored bulge into it. His
That's right.
featureless flesh-colored bulge.
Yeah, that's because
Ken doesn't have genitals.
Neither does Barbie.
Neither does Barbie.
We don't have to. I have all. No, that's not true.
I have all the genitals.
I have all the genitals.
genitals.
Okay, so point is, leading up, we both got very excited. The only reason why we couldn't see this movie together is because we live in different states.
It would have been very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, one of us would have to fly almost halfway all the way across the country. You're like 75%
Yes.
of this.
And Strauss,
Yes.
you are a dear friend. I was not going to go give myself jet lag to go see Barbie with you.
Yeah, no, that would be that'd be a bit silly. Now, if it was to do other things and also see Barbie is a bit of a different ask. But
That's fair.
obviously, if we were going to do it, we'd probably plan more stuff, but not just to go see Barbie. We are great friends, but we're also realistic people.
Yes.
We are people who live in the real world, sadly, and my bones would have hurt.
Mine too.
Yeah. Because that's a long time to be on a plane, I would know. I've
It
done
is.
flights like that many times. I probably know better than most human beings.
Yeah.
But
We both got to see Barbie in the theaters in
Yes.
our respective locations.
I wasn't at home, but I still saw it.
Mm.
I saw it with friends. Other friends. But the point is, we saw Barbie. So now, without much further ado, Barbie. The movie.
Barbie.
Starring Margot Robbie with Ryan Gosling. So I guess with opening thoughts, Sardo. El Sardonygus Rex. Master of the all Sardos.
Mm-hmm.
Of which there are, as far as we know, at least one. Maybe two.
At least. Maybe. Who knows?
Well, in fairness, there is your evil twin version with the goatee.
Oh, yeah. He's great.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
You know, from the evil parallel universe where everything's an empire. Oh, wait. Jokes aside, what was if you were to sum up Barbie in just like one word or like a small, like a short sentence, like you had to text it to somebody really quick, what would it be?
Give me a second. Weird but deep. Like, okay, for one thing, because this has been talked about quite a bit. Like, Barbie is an extremely feminist movie, and it is very, very base level feminism. Yes, it is like very like Mickey Mouse ABC's feminism, but it is conveyed in such a way that it is you cannot flinch away from it. You cannot do like an alternative reading of it. It is very much there and undeniable, and I think that made some people uncomfortable, and they should fucking suck it up because I don't know, I thought it worked.
I'm going to argue some points to that statement, but only the points that matter, which is, in fact, not that important. The ABC feminism part, but we could talk about more of that later. In the meantime, I would say it was very good. Arguably the second best movie I saw all year.
It was very good. What was your first best movie?
That would be Across the Spider-Verse.
Same.
Yeah, but that's more of a statement about Across the Spider-Verse, if we're being supremely honest.
It's true, but like the first two opening sequences of Barbie, because there are two separate things that we are introduced to, and they are both fucking superb.
I will start with the first one, because this is the high-minded part that I should know about.
Mm-hmm.
So the opening to Barbie, first there's like the prologue to the concept of Barbie, which is Barbie as a doll, as a fashion doll. Now, obviously, this is a joke, because if you know your history, people who know the history of these toys would probably correct this immediately, but that's not what it's doing.
No.
It's meant to be it's a good intro to get an idea of what the sense of humor of this movie is, and it's basically this long extended like statement about how before Barbie all girls' dolls were baby dolls.
Yeah.
Until Barbie shows up, and it's basically a parody of 2001: A Space Odyssey with the monolith. I'm just like, this is brilliant. I would have never thought about doing this. This is not... And we should know, Barbie, this is like Margot Robbie in like the original Barbie outfit, which was like a 50s styled swimsuit. By the way, she looks fantastic in it, by the way.
And she's like 50 feet tall in this, and I'm looking up at her like, this is better not awaken anything in me. Oh, too late.
Well, that's your problem. Not me. I was already prepared. But it was just, it's so funny. If there's anything that you need to know as like the intro to Barbie as a movie, this opening sequence is the only thing you need to see to be like, am I going to gel with this movie's sense of humor?
Yeah. And if you don't like it, you should probably just leave the theater and go see something else.
You can walk into Oppenheimer and be depressed.
Yeah.
Yeah. With Cillian Murphy.
His magnificent bone structure.
Yeah. But also, this prologue also explains Barbie, the Barbie movie universe, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Where we learned that Barbie comes from Barbie Land, which is like this world where all the Barbies live in their dream houses that are like actually just the place. It's very weird.
It's very literal in a lot of ways, because if you were a young person who played with Barbie dolls
or any like toys really,
but Barbies
specifically with
Barbies,
but yeah, but like the idea of is like you're playing with toys and they're in their own little world where they do things.
Mm-hmm. And the Barbies in Barbie Land believe that they have saved the human world by creating equality, that little girls are free to become doctors and lawyers and presidents, and nothing bad ever happens ever, and the Barbies live in their blissful existence in Barbie Land.
Yeah.
And they have no idea of the human world.
They do not. And this goes into the next scene, which would be the introduction to the Barbie that we're following, stereotypical Barbie as she's known. Because all the Barbies are named Barbie, except for the ones that are not.
Yes. Like Midge. We don't talk about Midge.
Yeah. We don't talk about Midge. But like basically all of the Barbies that aren't named, but basically all the Kens are named Ken, except for the ones that aren't. But everyone's just named what they are, and their whole thing is whatever they do. Like your stereotypical Barbie, Dr. Barbie, Vet Barbie,
President Barbie.
President Barbie, and so on and so forth.
Yes. But we are introduced to stereotypical Barbie, going about her day, and she's having the best day ever.
Which she always does, because she's Barbie.
Every day is the best day ever for Barbie.
Yeah. She does all of her things. She goes to the beach. She sees Ken, this one played by Ryan Gosling, whose job is beach.
His job is beach. But he's not a lifeguard, because that's very different.
Yeah, that is different.
And there's little details here that I love from the very get-go with the introduction. That, like, when Barbie makes her breakfast and she drinks out of a cup, she gets the milk carton, she pours it, and I'm using quote fingers, and there's no liquid, and then she, like, tilts the cup up to her face, and it's empty, so she's, like, miming the action of drinking. It's all extremely funny if you remember playing with Barbies, or dolls in general, but Barbies specifically
or
here.
Or really playing with any toys, because, like, everything is plastic. Like, that's the joke. There's, like, the water isn't real. Like, when they're at the beach, like, the ocean has no water in it. It's just plastic. Everything is plastic.
And Barbie does not go downstairs or through doors. She just floats to wherever she needs to go. Because when you're playing with a doll, you don't make the doll walk down the stairs. You just move it to wherever.
Yeah, because making it go down the stairs is hard, because you have to, like, fit the Barbie and then your hand in. And even if you had other toys and try to do that with, like, a house, it's like you gotta put it's hard to do.
Yes,
your child arms might be small, but they're not that small.
And they're very ungainly.
And you have very poor motor control.
we go to the beach and we meet the Kens, but we meet our Ken specifically, Ryan Gosling,
as Ken.
And he's kind of a fucking loser.
Well, like, we need to understand, like, there are two arcs in this movie. There is Barbie confronting Barbie's stuff, but, like, Ken's arc is Ken sort of going through the arc of learning, like, who am I? What is my purpose? Because...
Who is Ken?
Because it as the movie jokes, it's just Ken.
It's just Ken.
And this was even cleverly planted in the marketing.
Oh yeah, we ate this up.
Like, we were joking about, but, like, actually, though, it's like, it's Barbie and Ken.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important. Put a pin on that for later. And, you know, Ken wants to impress Barbie because he's there for Barbie. His Barbie, specifically. And, it never goes well, and he's kind of like he might be the world's... This might be the greatest example of a himbo character in so many ways.
He is a himbo. He is the platonic ideal of a himbo.
Yes. And what goes on is that as the opening of the movie goes forward, Barbie has her parties, girls' nights, you know, all the stuff that a Barbie does because it's Barbie.
Yeah.
Eventually Barbie wakes up the next morning and starts having odd thoughts. And this is done very hilariously via the opening music number. Now, it's not like where it's like, everything's pretty and pink. And then it's like, thoughts of death.
Yeah. So Barbie starts having not the best day ever. She wakes up feeling bad. The water in her shower is cold. Her toast is burnt. And then she falls when she's floating out of her house. And the worst part is, Stross, her feet are flat. Flat on the ground.
Okay, I'm gonna have to take a bit of umbrage with that statement real quick, if you don't mind me.
Okay.
As someone who actually has actual flat feet, her feet are normaled. Thank you
They're
very
flat
much.
for Barbie. They're flat for
Yes, I
Barbie.
understand they're flat for Barbie, but as someone with flat ass feet, you weren't ready for this joke, were you?
I didn't see that coming, I'll be
No,
real.
you didn't
Well,
see it coming.
I
You
learned something
see?
new about you today.
Yeah, you learn something new about it. It's why I can never go into the army until they get desperate.
And you can never be in Barbie land, Stross.
No, I'd have to be a Ken,
You would have to be a Ken.
which is fine. I
But
could I could beach. I could beach
you
real
you could
good.
beach. But the other Barbies find out about Barbie's predicament, and she is informed that she has to go see Weird Barbie to get her problems fixed. And Strauss, tell us about Weird Barbie.
Well, first things first, we should talk about who plays Weird Barbie,
Mm-hmm.
and that is
Kate McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon.
I like
Who,
her.
yeah, no, Kate McKinnon plays Weird Barbie, which is a Barbie who got played with a bit too much, got weird hair, legs are a bit busted.
Now,
The joke is that this is what happens when you play with a doll a bit too hard.
I want to say, as the owner of several Weird Barbies over the course of my young life,
This makes too much sense.
a Weird Barbie, her face was drawn on with marker, her hair was cut, her legs were broken all weird, so she's always in the splits.
Hmm.
And Weird Barbie's a little bit body horror, and I love that about her.
But in
She's
like a normal way, which makes it even weirder.
she's a little unsettling, and I dig that.
Yes. But the point is, Weird Barbie is like, I know shit Barbie. About,
She's the Oracle.
yeah, she's the Oracle.
The Oracle Joker.
Joker, it's the Oracle. No one, people, I'm so sorry that voice is never going away. If you haven't been watching me streaming with Sardo, you won't get it. You won't get it. We're
But
not we're not sorry. We're never going to be sorry. Just know that you're going to be hearing that from time to time for the rest of your lives.
it's true.
I know we will. But basically, Weird Barbie gives her, like, hey, you need to go into the real world and find the girl who is, like, giving you these weird thoughts.
Because, like, most Barbies have, like, a little girl who owns them in the real world, who plays with them and learns to dream her dreams about her future through them. And this Barbie's little girl is apparently having some thoughts about death.
And cellulite and other things. Also, Alan is here.
Alan is also here, played by Michael Cera. We love Alan.
We love
I
Alan.
love Alan.
People have learned to love Alan. But anyway, point is, Barbie's like, shit, I gotta go do these. I gotta go do something. And she gets told how to get to the human world, and she goes, and Ken ultimately tags along.
Because he's got to be with Barbie.
Because it's
he
Barbie
needs
and Ken.
he needs to impress her, or else he'll die.
It's true. It's true.
So they venture out into the human world in search of the little girl that this Barbie is connected to.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, we go to the human world and to the company of Mattel.
Literally in their own office with... So basically what happens is they go follow the instructions Weird Barbie gives, stereotypical Barbie, or just Barbie, as we're going to call her from probably here on out for the sake of ease.
Yes.
And and it's just like, okay, they go to the real world, and they're like, whoa, things are different. Because they're in, like, at Santa Monica.
They are. They're rollerblading through Santa Monica.
I like how everyone's checking out both Ken and Barbie.
Oh yeah.
It's just really funny.
And Barbie becomes aware of things like the male gaze. She notices that the men are looking at her, and she doesn't like the way they're looking at her because it's tinged with undertones of violence.
And the
and
sex.
and Ken is just drinking this all in. He's People admire Ken. People think Ken is great.
And so basically, after like running into people, including a very fun little scene with an older woman where she's like, "You look beautiful," and she's like, "I know." I like
And
this
that
old lady.
was the lady who created Barbie.
No, that's a different scene.
No, but
At the bus
the
stop.
act yeah, at the bus stop. The
Oh,
bus
the
stop. The
same
woman who
actress, but
plays that
different
old
character.
woman. Anyway,
Anyway, point is, Ken runs off, does his own thing, whereas Barbie goes to Mattel headquarters and asks, like, "Oh, something's horribly wrong, blah, blah,
well, no,
blah."
because the thing first is that she first Barbie encounters the little girl who owned her.
Supposedly.
And the little girl supposedly is now a bratty teenager.
No, she's a bratty tween. That's different.
A bratty tween. I apologize. And she's basically like, Barbie sucks and you're stupid and I don't know who you are.
And you're a representation of, like, awful things. And she's like...
And she makes Barbie cry.
Which is both hilarious and sad.
And it's weird for Barbie because Barbies don't cry and she doesn't know what this is.
Yeah.
And we should mention that through all this, Barbie is experiencing the range of human emotions.
Yeah.
Good and awful, and she's dealing with a lot. And then she goes to Mattel.
Yeah. And there she runs into the sexiest character in this movie, Will Ferrell.
Yes.
Who is having a blast because he hasn't been in a movie this fun in a while.
He's living for it. I love how much fun Will Ferrell was having here.
So what she learns is that she's in she learns that Mattel is run by a bunch of dudes, and Will Ferrell, who is the CEO, is like so funny in this because he's like, "I'm obsessed with little girls' dreams in the most non-creepy way possible."
I'm I'm the son of a mother. I'm the nephew of an aunt. Some of my friends are Jewish.
These jokes are great. They're all great.
He's Will Ferrelling very hard, and it works.
Absolutely. Also, all this is currently being narrated by Helen Mirren for some reason, and it's like,
Yes.
excellent pick. Excellent pick, no doubts.
Oh, top notch.
And basically, well, Barbie's has to then escape Mattel because they're trying to send her back to Barbie Land before bad things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because we eventually learned that people do escape from Barbie Land. All 5 members of NSYNC.
It's a little bit of a secure, contain, protect kind of thing,
Yes.
because Barbie is creating a rift between the dimensions by existing in the human world.
And it's an oops.
Meanwhile, Ken is running wild and free and learning about patriarchy.
Which at first he thought was about horses.
Because he's Ken.
Because he's Ken and he's stupid.
And Ken's like, you know what? Men have all the important jobs in this world. People respect men. And I do love this bit where Ken tries to get into several positions of power. That I think he tries to become like a CEO. Then he tries to become a surgeon, and they won't let him do surgery. And he's very upset about it.
Because remember, he's from Barbie Land where you just do these things. You just innately can just do things.
And then he tries to become a lifeguard, and that doesn't go well either.
Because that's hard.
Great. No, he doesn't try to become a lifeguard. His job is beach.
Yeah, which is not a job, sadly. But the point is, while Barbie is going through like this range of emotions, she runs into the actual source of her troubles, which is this older woman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, what was her name? Because it's not real. Uh,
I forget. I forget her name in the movie,
Gloria.
but she's played by
It's Gloria.
America Ferrera.
Yeah,
Gloria.
Gloria.
Played by America Ferrera. Very lovely.
Yeah, and she is like, and she's just going through it because she's a like 40-something-year-old mother with like a daughter growing up who doesn't think she's cool anymore, which is hilarious.
and she's kind of grieving the loss of her relationship with her daughter, and so her daughter had disposed of her old Barbies, but Gloria hung on to stereotypical Barbie, and she started doing like outfit drawings of this Barbie, but they got weird and dark.
Like Thoughts of Death Barbie, Cellulite Barbie.
Yeah, so basically she's sort of projecting her insecurities and existential angst onto Barbie, and that's why Barbie is having these feelings.
Yeah, and then eventually, as we go through it, they go back to Barbie Land, but something has happened.
And what has happened?
Ken introduced patriarchy to Barbie Land.
Yes, he did.
And it's so funny. Because Ken, who, you know, in fairness to Ken, and I think you'll agree with me, it's not that he wants patriarchy per se. He wants to feel important to somebody in some way.
Yes. He wants to feel acknowledged.
Yeah, which is totally fair because, like, as the movie establishes, Ken is really, like, there's this great joke, like, almost a throwaway line where the child of Gloria, Sasha, asks of, I think it's Sasha. Is it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Sasha.
Yeah, okay. Asks a very honest question to Barbie. It's like, so where do the Kens live? And she goes, I don't know.
They don't really live anywhere. They just sort of show up.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing that Ken, as played by Ryan Gosling, because looking at the cast list of this is very hard because everyone is named the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is basically the existential dread of Ken is that he kind of realizes that Barbie doesn't care about him that way. And it's not like in a gross way, but in the fact that like his whole purpose is to be seen by Barbie at the beach.
He's Barbie's like not boyfriend, like there's the implication of romantic interest, but it's not really because he wants or desires romantic interest. It's just he wants to be acknowledged, and his job is Ken.
Yeah. And like the best way to really put it, I think, is that like Ken's character arc is about just finding a purpose.
Yeah, and it's finding an identity beyond how Barbie sees him.
Beyond Barbie, because like it's not in the romantic sense, but it's in the very literal sense that Ken is like, as in the marketing, is attached to Barbie.
Yes.
Which is kind of the point. And the point is, guys, you don't need the acknowledgement of a lady. Self-fulfillment.
Yeah, like learn about yourself. Learn who you are.
So yeah, Barbie Land has been taken over by the Kens, and they introduced patriarchy in the most ridiculous way possible. It's very funny.
It's incredibly silly.
It's like it's Ken's Mojo Dojo Casa House of 1,000 deaths.
You could be my woman wife, or my
On again.
Convenient distance, low commitment girlfriend.
Like, once again, he only just learned what patriarchy is and doesn't really get it. It's very funny. But basically, as what happens is, like, Barbie starts having an existential crisis because, like, this is not what it's supposed to be. This is not how this is supposed to go. Everything's being bad. And luckily for Barbie, Weird Barbie is here to help again.
Yes.
Because the Kens don't talk to Weird Barbie for reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because they're just too busy waiting around for their Barbie. And this Barbie doesn't have a
so.
Ken. And, you know, that's no problem with that. and their plan is to save Barbie Land by, as they stated, it's like when the Europeans invaded the Americas and brought their diseases with them. There was no natural immunity to patriarchy.
Right.
So then they're like, we got to deprogram all the Barbies from patriarchy. Luckily, there's an easy way to do it. We can just distract the Kens in various different ways. And God, every single one is hilarious. Would you like to name some of the ways that they distract the Kens?
There's not knowing how to use the select tool in Photoshop. There's, please explain The Godfather to me.
That scene is both true, but also like that kind of film bro is dead. I got it, but I also am like,
I wouldn't say they're dead. I know a few of them.
you know a few of them, but they're a dying breed. Is now apparently watching anything that isn't a tentpole now labels you a film bro on the internet. I'm not happy about it either. There's also being bad at sport.
Being bad at sport.
And they do this.
Let me help you.
Yeah, let me help you. And then eventually they deprogram all the Barbies, and then as the ultimate piece de resistance, they also, who would have thought, Push by oh god, who made Push? Matchbox 20. There we go. Would make a reappearance in this movie.
Oh man,
I wanna push
you around.
That's not what that song's about, by the way. It's just really funny that that's the song that they picked. Actually, it makes a lot of sense that that's the song that they picked, because it, you know, it makes sense that Ken would not understand what this song is actually about.
And I want to say too, with the thing of like the patriarchy and the kind of distracting the Kens away, there is something so fascinating in that there is like a lack of actual any actual like idea of sexuality in Barbie Land, but it's the incredible facsimile of like miming sexuality in the same way that like Barbie drinks from the pretend empty cup.
Yeah, it's sort of like the child version of what, if you were to explain what patriarchy is to a child,
yeah,
and how they would like mime it out with their toys, where it's like they understand that this is a thing now, but they don't really understand like the sexual politics at the root of it as well. So it's like, it's very weirdly chaste in a way that makes sense in the movie, but also feels kind of weird in the right way, mind you.
It's interesting. It's definitely deliberate, and it's interesting. But yes, so
it's definitely like, it's interesting because all of this stuff is like, how do we write a character doing patriarchy but doesn't know what sex is?
Yeah.
Like, how do we take a character with no sexual feeling, because like an asexual creature, and teach him what patriarchy is?
And there's been a lot of mention too from people who've seen this about, you know, talking about like Arrow Ace Barbie, and it's like, you know what? Yeah, I could definitely see like it's interesting the way it plays out. But anyhow, so the Barbies are slowly won back from the clutches of patriarchy in Barbie Land.
Not what we thought when we were going to see this movie, by the way.
No, but I'm here for it.
Oh yeah, and eventually they save the day with the Kens, by distracting the Kens in the most comical way possible, because they're all at the beach and the Kens are singing with their guitars. Question for you, Sardo. Do you know about the statement about the white guy with acoustic guitar joke?
Stross, I've lived it.
I assumed you did, but I wasn't sure.
Of course I have.
We're weird enough people where we might not be at those kinds of parties.
I've been at a few of those parties.
I have too, but not many. And I never brought a guitar because I can't play one.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't either.
But the point is, and it's like, oh, is that your song? And each Barbie moves to a different Ken, and all the Kens are so mad at each other.
And it's inspiring jealousy and anger among the Kens to kind of break their ranks.
And then the Kens have a long, extended fight scene with basically whatever is on hand, because this is Barbie Land. There are no toy guns or swords or
There's
anything
no
like
weapons.
that. So they're just using like sporting equipment and like pool toys. It's really goofy. And it ends in probably the greatest musical number I didn't know I wanted.
I'm just Ken.
And in some places I would be a 10.
I don't have words to explain to you how much I need Ryan Gosling's outfit in this particular bit of the movie. I need his floor-length mink coat and his lightning headband and his fringe vest under the coat.
It's a wonderful outfit.
I can't put a fine enough point on how good this outfit is.
The whole outfit is amazing.
He serves, he eats, he's a full course buffet.
And it's so funny. The whole thing is hilarious.
There's a dance number, all the Kens are dancing. And it's you see quite a bit of Simu Liu's side boob, and
you see a lot of Ryan Gosling's torso in this, and it's great.
It's mwah, 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 mwah. Oscars all around.
It might honestly there might actually be some Oscar wins out of this. Anyway, point is, going down in the end, the Kens get tricked, they lose, and finally the Mattel CEOs show up. And they're like, we're here to fix it. And it's like, no, we like how we kind of got things going. We kind of handled it, and we got things going in a way that I think we're all pretty good. And, there's this whole, like, spiel about, hey, it's good. And Barbie, stereotypical Barbie, has a choice at the end of the movie where she finally meets basically the ghost of her creator, Ruth.
Ruth Handler.
Ruth Handler.
Ruth Handler.
Yes,
who named Barbie after her daughter, Barbara.
Yeah. And in the end, Barbie chooses to live in the human world, where she ends the movie on maybe the best closing line in a film in a long time. Miss Handler, why are you here? I'm here to see my gynecologist. And the movie ends. So that's the movie in a nutshell. If you need a reminder of what happens, we skipped over a lot of like goofs and gags and silly moments.
Go see the movie.
Go see the movie. If you haven't seen the movie, wait for it to come out on home video and buy that.
Yeah.
But anyway, Sardo, now that we're done explaining what happened, what are your thoughts on Barbie?
Okay. At the risk of sounding like I am overhyping stuff, Stross, okay, do you know me to overhype things a lot? Am I a person with just like oodles of praise for every single thing I see? I'm not. And
no. Well,
I
sometimes you will overhype a chip.
Maybe.
Because chips are delicious.
That's not overhyping though, because chips are good.
Well, it depends on the chip.
What I'm trying to say is, Barbie was really, really smart. Like, there's so much there that it's just like, yeah, Barbie was primal in a lot of ways.
I would definitely say in my thoughts was, going in, we both saw this movie not on release day.
Mm-hmm.
So we already probably heard from various people that we respect their opinions of. Like, holy shit, this was way better than expected. So we were like, oh. And then we saw it and then we were like, oh, it is. And it is.
I watched this movie with my mom. I was sitting next to my mom in the theater, and there were a couple of times where I would glance over at my mom and I would just start crying because this movie, it's funny. It's so funny. And it's really really clever about a lot of stuff that surprises you, but it is also just like I was kind of laughing a little bit at people like, yeah, I cried at the end of Barbie, but it's like, no, 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 because I cried too.
It's definitely a movie that's very funny. It knows what it is.
Yeah.
And I
And
think I think that's the key here.
it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and that's fine. But it's really surprising.
Yeah, it's one of those movies where like I don't think anyone went in with the thought process of this was going to be a fantastic movie where, you know, we're going to discuss things at a much more intellectual level than you would think a movie called Barbie was going to go.
Yeah. And I mean, too, in terms of, because I know I mentioned a little bit at the beginning that the Barbie is very feminist in what I feel is kind of an ABCs kind of way, and that's not a bad thing. Like, I feel like it addresses some very base level feminist ideas that should be kind of common knowledge, but it addresses it in such a way that I think it's really good.
I mean, I would argue the ABC part, but I don't think that's really what we need to discuss here today. The point is, it's smart, it's very witty, it's a very witty script. Like, this is probably, and it hopefully at least gets the nod for Best Original Screenplay. It should probably win it, though.
Yes.
Because it's clever. And it's clever about what it's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's smart.
It's very smart.
Like
and
me.
it's just I was really impressed by what this movie was. Like, I don't think I'm Barbie's core target audience in this, but it spoke to me in a lot of ways regardless. And I loved it. I loved Barbie.
I would say the best
so
way to
good.
describe it, we are not the target audience for what you would stereotypically think a Barbie movie was going to be.
No.
Like, we are skeletal men whose favorite things are weird, strange, macabre, or just fucking weird.
Yeah.
I'm the person who made us watch Hey K Story. You could exactly tell the type of person I am deep down on the inside.
Oh, totally.
We're gonna cry, and boy, is it gonna be hard.
But we both enjoyed Barbie, and I think
Yeah.
that says a lot about this movie.
It's definitely, like, thank God we had two movies come out at the same time that were well reviewed, not franchised, and were just good.
Just solid.
Like, yeah, we didn't watch Oppenheimer, but that's not because we thought Oppenheimer was going to be bad. It's just we didn't want to see Oppenheimer.
It's just not my thing. I go to a theater. I don't want to be sad for 3 hours. That's just
Unlike
how
me, I
am.
might see Oppenheimer later.
And
then there's me.
and
Yes,
you are
I'll go
well
see
within
a
your right to
movie.
do that.
Yeah, it's like, I'll go see a movie for 3 hours and be depressed about the state of the universe. I love giving myself existential dread.
But Barbie was a delight.
It was a delight. We had so much fun when both of our times when we saw it. Also, the production design is just great.
Oh, it's spectacular. Just everything about it looks so good.
The fact that it's real is what makes it really great. Like, we didn't even mention the fact that, like, weird Barbies, like, helpers are all discontinued Barbies from, like, actual discontinued Barbies, like, grow up.
Sugar Daddy Ken! Magic Earring Ken!
I love Sugar Daddy Ken. It's like, oh, this is Sugar and I'm her daddy.
He's got a little dog.
Yeah, little dog.
And the fact that they use things like matte paintings and practical effects.
Well,
And
usually, not always, but I think what my favorite part about it is just that everything in this movie is just meant to be a thing that's real.
it all feels very tangible.
Like, the set is real, and that's what's great about it. Like, it's a real set. Like, it looks fake, but it's not, and I think that's great.
Yes.
And I wish more movies were like this.
I do too.
It's fun.
It's very fun. But overall, I would definitely give Barbie a thumbs up. I think you should go see it if you haven't seen it already. If you've already seen it, watch it again. I'm planning on watching it again at some point.
Yeah, no, I definitely say one of the better movies that I've seen over the past year. I mean, admittedly, my 3 times in the theater was the D&D movie Across the Spider-Verse and this, so I've been like 3 for 3 right now.
3 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah, 3 out of 3 is actually pretty good. If it was 2 out of 3, that ain't bad, but I'm not Meatloaf, so I get an extra.
Oh, yeah. Also, I will be right back.
All right. After that sudden surprise break, apparently we get intermission series, but not the Barbie movie.
Oh, definitely not.
No, because it's not that long. I would say, like, really, like, closing thoughts on Barbie. I think I speak for both of us when I say, not only is it a good movie, it's a smart movie, it's really well done. Ryan Gosling might win an Oscar for this performance.
I think he should.
It's that, or it's going to be Robert Downey Jr. for his surprise turn in Oppenheimer, which, you know what, fun little battle there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I think we are looking at 2 excellent movies starring good people. Margot Robbie is great in this movie, by the way. A lot of it's going to Ryan Gosling because he is a delight in this film. But she should not
Robbie,
be. She's the heart of this movie.
And nobody could have done this like she could have.
I could have.
She's,
How do you know?
You never mind, Stross. You're right. You could have.
I'm a master actor. How dare you?
You know what? Yeah, Stross, nobody could play Barbie like you could. I'm very sorry.
But yeah, no, I'm not sure how many people could have done this movie as well as Margot Robbie did. Like, jokes aside, obviously.
She was really exceptional.
And she looks great in this movie. Like, excellent casting all around.
And she's just adorable. She is so cute.
Like, she managed to capture, like, the idea of an innocent person who is also way too much of a looks like too much of an adult.
Yeah.
It's interesting because it's like what makes this movie work is that there's this very fine line between, like, we have to make these Barbie characters are from, like, a world where they just assume all the problems have been solved and don't have any real desires beyond just doing what they do. It's interesting.
We fixed the world. Everything's fixed.
It's not. America's character will tell you. It's like, yeah.
No.
No. You tried, but no.
But go watch Barbie. That's all I have to say.
Come on, Barbie, let's go Barbie.
Yeah.
Even that song kind of sort of in here, not really, because the relationship between Mattel and Aqua's Barbie girl is still
tenuous.
Tenuous at best. Very tenuous. But yes, anyway, I think that's enough of Barbie for now.
I think so.
Tell me, El Sartorino, is there anything interesting you've been watching? What the hell you been watching?
Oh, what the hell have I been watching?
Or playing or reading, you know.
So I've been watching it in bits and chunks, but I finally picked up. I've been watching it as well as reading the manga for it. Oshi no Ko, which is. Have you seen?
I haven't seen it, but I know what it's about. I know it's a lot better than its premise sounds. Not because its premise is bad. Its premise sounds insane, but
its premise is bananas.
Okay, so if I remember correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I
Okay.
might as well put myself at the other end of what these things are, because usually I put you at the end of these things.
Yeah, you always put me on the spot. Now it's your turn.
If I remember correctly from what I read from glancing like the synopsis of what the hell it's about, it is about a guy who knew this idol who died and is like reborn, and he's also reborn as the sister of this idol, and they have stars in their eye, respective eyes, because that's what their mother had. It's very strange. And it's a lot about the idol industry and the entertainment industry specifically, and how it's
that
shitty.
Yes.
Which is what makes it good, but definitely the inciting incident is weird.
Yeah, so I'll fill you in. And
Yeah,
spoilers if you haven't seen or watched Oshinoko
fairness,
yet, and
we just spoiled an entire ass movie. You're at this point, then who cares?
Well, they knew we were going to talk about the Barbie movie.
This is true.
It's
gonna be a very pink thumbnail.
The thumbnail's gonna be bright fucking pink. But
yeah.
Oshinoko basically starts with our protagonist, who is an OBGYN. And he's a big fan of this idol named I, which is kind of weird. He's a grown man and he's obsessed with this 16-year-old idol, but okay, for the time being, we're gonna just have to roll with this because that's the plot.
He just really likes her music.
And this idol that he's obsessed with comes to him for a consultation because she is very pregnant with twins. And it's, because there's obviously the risk of this ruining her career. It has to be kept very hush-hush because she wants to still be an idol. And as she is giving birth to these twin babies, the OBGYN is murdered. He is killed, and yes, he reincarnates as one of the twins that she is giving birth to.
Which is weird.
And the other twin is actually the reincarnated spirit of this young girl that he worked with. I guess he was like another kind of doctor working with cancer patients. She was like 12 and she had terminal cancer and she died from it, but she was also obsessed with this idol. And so now they are her twin son and daughter. And it's going through her life as like a single mom who's also having to keep their existence a secret from people because she's still an idol. Yes, it is
very odd premise that's not really about what it sounds like.
It's definitely like a pretty scathing critique about the idol industry and everything horrible about it. And the premise is insane, but it works well enough for what you're reading. It's really interesting so far.
Yeah, it's definitely, from what I understand, a very interesting series, but it's also like, if I didn't preface this or whatever the subface it, I don't know, what would be the opposite of preface?
Subface.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a word for it, but basically, if I didn't lead or follow it with what it's actually about, it sounds insane.
It's definitely one of those things where I've been watching it and I'm like, huh, okay.
Like, okay, this is really good, but why is it like this?
The point it gets across is very effective. It's just a very interesting way to implement it. And points for being unique.
Yeah, the unique points are off the chart, and we like that.
Yeah, good courage to have the balls to do something different,
Yeah, even if it's really fucking weird.
It's very strange, but it works well enough so far. What about you, Stross? What have you been watching?
Well, let's see. I haven't really been watching much of anything that I haven't already talked about. So, I've been watching Master Keaton, as we know. Almost
Very
done.
nice.
Almost done with Master Keaton, an episode a week.
How you liking it?
Oh, it's still really good. It is a very good series. You and I are gonna have to find a way to watch it.
I would like that very much.
Yes, it's just that it's one of those like out of print series, so they're kind of hard to get your hands on. There wasn't one time I had to watch a bunch of episodes of Speed Racer. Oh my god, he's dead.
Fucking die.
Go listen to that Speed Racer episode, and then subscribe to the Patreon to watch it in real time and be like, wow, what the fuck. I'm farther in Baldur's Gate now. Not much farther, but I got farther.
How you liking it?
I read a really interesting article on it where it's like it's a great game, but it's also like a really bad session of D&D because it's a computer game and therefore much more rigid. Which is totally fair. It's one of those things where it's just like it's the best representation of D&D, but also it isn't as flexible as D&D can be. It's fun. I'm having a great time with it though.
I'm glad.
Let's see. What else? Is there anything else? Johnny is back in Guilty Gear. I think we've already talked about that. If not, then congratulations to Johnny and all of his fans.
Forget this harlot brother.
No, we never talked. I know you and I have talked about it. I'm not reading anything at the moment. I do have a new book, but I haven't started reading it yet, so I'm not going to talk about it until I've started reading it. It's like, oh, I'm reading this book that I haven't started yet. It's a look.
It's all right.
It is all right.
We're both intellectuals, Stross.
Yeah, we're intellectuals, which means we mostly talk in stupid voices towards each other for hours on end.
It's true, Stross.
It's true, Sardo. But anyway, I think we'll call this one an episode, everybody. Until next time, I'm Stross, that's Sardo. You can follow Sardo at Marquis Belial, Autopsy Garlands for the main account, Marquis Belial's the art account, every Monday at 6:30 Mountain Time, but 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You stream art at Uncle Death on Twitch. You do the arts.
I draw. I do requests.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
It is fun. I'm usually there, except for the times that few times that I'm not.
Yeah. We have a good time.
Yeah, we do. Which leads into the fact that on my stream at Almighty Stross on Twitch.com, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can watch me and Sardo go through games. Because apparently this is just how it is now. Wasn't the plan, but it's how what it's come to.
I'm your co-pilot now, I guess.
It's what happened. And we're still playing Persona 5. It's been exciting.
And we are having a heck of a good time.
Yeah, we're having a heck of a good time.
But until next time, it's been good to see you folks, and I hope you take care, and life in plastic is fantastic.
Yeah, except for when you end up with the thoughts of like a 40-year-old woman in your head who's having troubles with her like 13-year-old daughter.
This is true.
Yeah, as we've learned, that's what the Barbie movie was about. Goodbye, everyone.
Good night, everybody.